Bill, how did you find carnivore?
Well, Dave, I kind of found it by accident, actually. 2022, or approximately about 3 years ago, I got on the scales and I weighed 255 pounds. And I was like, what? What is going on? I couldn't hardly tie my shoes. I couldn't bend over. I never had any type of energy. I just lost all my energy. And I had to do something. Um, I am 59 years old, and I did not want to continue on and you know balloon up. That's kind of what I was doing. I was buying bigger clothes all the time. One day I went to buy a chicken sandwich at the local chicken sandwich place that's not open on Sunday, and the next day my blood pressure just skyrocketed. I didn't know what happened. I went to the doctor. We got it under control and actually added blood pressure medicine to me. Well, after that, I was trying to figure out what was triggering things. What was triggering my blood pressure? What was triggering me to gain this weight? What was triggering me to retain this weight? So I came across Dr. Sean Berry, or I'm sorry, Dr. Sean Baker and Dr. Ken Berry on YouTube, and they were talking about eating meat and eggs. And I love meat and eggs, and so I tried it one day and wasn't hungry the next day, or wasn't hungry, the next following meal. Um, and I just continued that habit of just eating. I was eating hamburgers, and I was eating ribeyes, and I was eating scrambled eggs, and also gave myself a goal. So one thing about me, I played sports all my life, so I always had this goal in mind that I wanted to achieve. Whether it was written down or it was in my mind, that's what I wanted to be. So I told myself, I want to be at this certain weight on every Friday. So I was getting a goal that week. And all of a sudden I noticed um, the weight was falling off. And it was slowly but surely staying off. So I went from 255, which was unbelievable. I can't believe I weighed 255, and then I went to 245, and then I just kept gradually going down lower and lower. Um, and I also had gone to the doctor, and I actually had my testosterone checked as well too, as men should at my age. And the doctor, yes, he did say I was low, so I started taking the testosterone shots every 2 weeks as well. Um, the weight kept falling off a little bit at a time. I didn't want to go dramatically, like 30 pounds in 30 days. I wanted to do it the right way, and I wanted to do it the healthy way. After about a year, I had lost about 30 pounds. So I was in the 230 range, 225 to 230 range. And that was in 2023. So I was just slowly going there and reading a little bit more about the carnivore diet. And I was actually eating dairy as well. So I eliminated that dairy. So it was kind of like I was eating ribeyes, steak. I was also eating chicken, and I was trying to figure out what was triggering, or what did I need to eliminate to lose that weight? Because eventually you plateau, right? I mean, you plateau. Everybody kind of plateaus. So you have to kind of reset your body, and I would do that occasionally. About once a month, I would reset my body and eat a full meal, eat like a salad bar and eat vegetables and stuff like that, and that would just kind of reset my whole body. And I didn't know about fasting at that time either. So this was 2023. Um, I was set to go on a cruise in January 2024. So I wanted another goal. In January 2024, I wanted to be at 199. I was tired of that two number. I was tired of that crooked number. I wanted a straight number to begin with. So I set a goal, whether it be the week before I go on this cruise in January of 2024 or a month, I was going to set that goal at 199. Well, about 3 days before we left on the cruise, guess what? I hit that 199. I was so proud. I was so proud. So, and my kids noticed that I was losing weight. Something was going on. Um, and people at work were like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I would say, I'm doing carnivore. I'm only eating meat." And people would say, "I can't do that. I can't do that." I said, "Yeah, you can. Just try it. Just try it." "Oh, it's too expensive." No, it's not. You could, at that point in time, you could buy ground beef for $3.99, $4.99 a pound. And eggs were still $1.99 at that point in time too. So I was eating about 6 eggs a day and eating 2 to 4 hamburgers a day, just the meat. So it was filling me up. Went on a cruise. I did not eat carnivore during that cruise, um, which was fine. Hey, I knew what worked for me. I mean, it took me about 2 years to lose about 60 pounds, but I achieved my goal, and I was at that 199 mark before I went to the cruise. Of course, once you get on a cruise, if you've ever been on a cruise, you eat 3 meals a day. You eat a lot. You eat a lot of carbs, which we did, and desserts. As soon as we got back from the cruise, I started back up on my carnivore. I dropped the 10 pounds very quickly because a lot of it was water weight. Um, and then I went back to the doctor, and he removed me from my blood pressure medicine that I was taking. Actually, I went from 2 blood pressure medicines to a quarter of a blood pressure medicine. So that was a success story for me as well, to get off blood pressure medicine. I was still at that 200 range. I actually went and set myself another goal for spring of 2024 of being 185. I got to 187, and that was my goal weight. That was my playing weight actually in college. So about 40 years ago, I played college baseball, and my playing weight was between 175 and 185. So I was very proud of being at that 187 mark in the spring of 2024. Um,
And
I
sorry,
continue.
just to jump in, can I ask how
Mhm.
tall you are, please?
I am 6 foot tall. So so I went back to the doctor, and like I said, he took me off the blood pressure medicine because my blood pressure was too low actually. And in 2025, this year, I actually stopped taking the testosterone shots because I felt like that I didn't need them. And I went to the doctor, and sure enough, he did my blood work on testosterone without the shots, and my levels were actually above where I was when I was taking the shots, when I was 245, 250 pounds. So, eating steak, ribeye, um, all that protein, and able to not take naps anymore, not be tired anymore, able to get outside and walk a little bit, exercise a little bit. I was able to remove myself from all the blood pressure medicine and also the testosterone shots. So,
That's awesome. And
yes,
so that's been over 2 years now.
it has been. It has been 2 years.
Wow. Um, and so how is it within your family? Because it sounds like at first they didn't really notice that you were even doing this, until they started noticing the weight loss.
That's correct. So I have two older sons, um, Trevin, who is 32 years old, and Zane, who's 28. They're both married, and have families. So they don't live with me. So I live by myself. So they were only seeing me about once a week, maybe at church or, an outing. We'd go out to eat or they'd come by the house and they would be like, "What are you doing? Why have you lost this weight? How have you lost this weight?" So that was a surprise to them as well. Um, and another success story, Dave, my son, who is 32, he is about 5'11". He's a little bit shorter than me. He weighed 275 pounds as a 30-year-old gentleman. And I think I sent you a couple before and after pictures in the email. Uh, he is a different person. Um, he saw what I was doing and asked me if he could try it, if he could do it. And I said, absolutely. Here's what worked for me. So I gave him a little bit of advice, and he started in January of 2024, and it didn't take him any time at all to start losing that weight. And within 8 months, I think 8 or 9 months, he was down to like 220. So he had lost 50 pounds in about 8 months. Um, and you could tell, you could notice, and his clothes were falling off. I mean, that it just, the weight just falls off and your clothes are just hanging. Well, the other success story was that Dave, that he started going to church that same year, January 2024. Um, and this was one of the prayers that I had for him, was to please go to church and sit beside me. Well, January 2024, he started sitting beside me. And then in April, he actually got baptized of that same year. So he tells me now, it's changed his life, going to church every Sunday, and he's there every Sunday, which makes me very proud. He's got a wife and two daughters. So they're watching him as well. He's the leader of his family, and they watch his success story as well. Um, he and I kind of compare notes a little bit. Like, hey, what, we go to the grocery store together and we buy the same meats or the same eggs or something like that. What works for you? What worked for you? Um, he also stopped drinking beer. Um, so that was a good sign as well. As you know, alcohol, turns into sugar. That's another thing that will will hold your weight in your body as well. Um, but yeah, I wish he could be on here today, but he doesn't like the camera. But I'm very proud of him and his weight loss as well. And he continues to be right at that 199, 200 mark as well.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, you know, it's such a big thing in 2025 when, you're able to eat as much as you want, feel full, and be so much smaller than the rest of the general community around you, 'cause
Exactly.
everyone's so sick. It's,
I agree with that.
yeah. Um, so have you, like, through church or anything like that, have you had people kind of say, "Come on, Bill, tell me, what can I try?"
Oh, it happens all the time, Dave. It happens all the time. People that haven't seen me in a while go, "Oh, something's different with you. You've lost weight." Yes, I have, and I tell them what I did. Went basically zero carbs, which is carnivore. And they ask, well, do you eat pork? Occasionally, I'll have some bacon every once in a while. I really don't eat a lot of chicken, Dave. I tend stick with the beef. I did switch over to chicken probably about 6 months ago, and I could tell there must be something in the chicken because I was retaining that water. I was retaining that weight when I ate the chicken. Because I meal prep, so I cook a lot at one time, and I will meal prep and plan my meals, which is meat and eggs. So I will put them in the refrigerator, and when I go to lunch or when I go to work, I'll take them with me and I'll heat them up in the microwave and eat them at lunch. The other thing that I didn't know about that I'm still learning is fasting. Um, Probably only 2 or 3 months ago, I started fasting, which sometimes on a fast I'll lose 5 to 7 pounds in a 48-hour period. Um, and I'll kind of load up. I think Dr. Sean Baker mentioned about loading. So you kind of load, eat a maybe double meal than normal, and drink a lot of water during that time period. And a lot of it, Dave, is mindset. I mean, it's just mindset. If you can do it, if you can set your mind to it. Hey, it's achievable. Just like my goals, I set a goal every Friday where I wanted to be, and I would hit that goal. So I just enjoyed that. Fasting, usually I do that on the weekends. I try to stay busy, either outside or doing some kind of exercise. At work, it's a little bit harder because I'm sedative. I stand up at work, but I'm working on a computer, um, so I kind of get bored and hungry every once in a while, and I got to eat. So I eat.
I know that feeling very well.
Yeah.
So, but regarding your job, has
Mhm.
been eating this way something that has, made your productivity better or your kind of clarity of thought around the work that you're doing better or more focused?
Absolutely. I can tell that foggy feeling, that sluggish feeling is gone. I don't have that anymore. I'm alert. I'm awake. I used to be able to take naps, um, just like that. Um, Several years ago, I would go to my car for lunch and eat my sandwich or eat my chips or whatever I had, and I would take about a 10-minute nap, set my alarm, and I'd go right back to work. That was the habit that I had, and today I don't do that.
Oh, that's awesome. Sorry, go
Mhm.
ahead.
The other thing, as far as drink, I only drink water and coffee. Um, and I don't put anything in my coffee. I drink black coffee. Um, I grew up. My mom drank black coffee, and she also drank unsweet tea. So, I didn't know what sweet tea was until I went to college. Until I was 18, 19 years old, I didn't had a clue what sweet tea was. We didn't go out to eat. My mom cooked dinner every night, so we either drank water, lemonade, or unsweet tea.
Right. That's good, but yeah, when you were confronted with the sweet tea, at school, it would have been like, "Wow, what
Hmm.
what's this?"
Yeah,
'Ca
exactly.
that when you're not used to having so much sugar, especially in liquid form like that, it'll hit you, right?
Oh, yes, it will. Yeah, it
Mm,
will. And I don't drink any sugary drinks now. I'll get the whatever the lemonade, the no sugar little powder things, and put them in my bottle of water occasionally. Just to have something different. But coffee, I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and it's black coffee.
right. Yeah.
You know?
So are you eating like 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day?
So my normal day is four scrambled eggs in the morning. That's usually about 7:30, and then I'll eat at noon, and that's usually three quarters of a pound of meat or close to a pound of meat. And then at night, um, I will probably half the time I'll eat another four scrambled eggs for dinner, and that's all I'll eat. So in the day, I will have three meals, but it'll consist of four scrambled eggs, some type of meat or some meat in the at lunch, and then scrambled eggs at night.
That's awesome. And you've never felt better, right? This is
I've
the
never felt better. Exactly. I've
mm.
never felt better. This time next year, I will be turning 60 years old. And I'm like looking forward to that day where I can say, "You're 60," you know? So um, I'm continuing to, set my goals. I'm right at 200 pounds right now. Um, but if I started eating carbs, listen, the holidays coming up, right? We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas. You talk about, I could probably gain 15, 20 pounds, and I used to be that way, but now I'm not going back there. I'm not going back to 255 pounds, Dave.
I think one of the best things with, this way of eating is it gives you calmness around those junk foods, so everyone can be partaking in those things, and you don't feel this emotional urge to, like this almost shaky urge to go and have the stuff as well, you know? You can just sit back and go, "Yeah, it looks nice, but I know what it does to me, so I'm
Yeah,
switched off."
exactly. Exactly. I know if I go out to eat, we've got a couple of restaurants, local restaurants here, and they have a hamburger, say hamburger, um, uh, wings, and pizza. I'll choose the hamburger no bun, and sometimes occasionally I'll get some French fries or some tater tots, or some sweet potato fries. But I may only eat a portion of the potatoes, because I know if I eat the whole thing, how I'm going to feel, or how it's going to affect me. But the hamburger, I'll get it with pickles and put some mustard on there just to have a little extra, flavor on there. But um, that's the normal meal.
Yeah. So just on something, you talked very specifically about goals. You
Hmm.
you kind of set those goals and you were like, I want to get to this point and I'm going to get to this weight and so forth. I think the great thing to hear that is it reinforces how much more control eating this way puts back in your own hands.
Absolutely. And I do weigh every single day. Some people would tell me, why do you weigh every single day? Well, I want to know what triggered from the day before. So if I ate chicken the day before, or if I ate two hamburgers instead of three hamburgers, or so much more meat, or maybe I um, had something else. Um, what triggered that? You know, it's college football season right now in Tennessee where I live, and there's a lot of tailgating going on, and there's a lot of football games going on, and on Saturdays we kind of get together and watch college football, and um, there's um, other foods than ribeyes and hamburgers sometimes that I kind of indulge in a little bit, but I know what works for my body, Dave, and when I get on strict 100% carnivore, the weight will come off.
So you mentioned how you've got off the blood pressure meds, you stopped the
Hmm.
testosterone.
Hmm.
Has your doctor questioned anything? It's like it's not unusual. Like your doctor probably doesn't see many people that go in and he's able to stop their blood pressure meds.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a younger doctor, and I told him what I was doing. I was actually seeing him twice a year, and um, and he's just amazed how my body's changed and how my blood pressure and all the tests that he runs today. He said, "Keep on doing what you're doing. It's working for you. Keep on doing what you're doing."
And, the statin word hasn't come up in any conversations?
No, it has not.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a doctor that I think a lot of people would like, a doctor who actually kind of looks at the results and listens rather than just jumping to the first medication they could prescribe.
absolutely, absolutely. I really enjoy him, and you know, he's really good to talk to, and he if it's successful for you, he encourages it. So I'm happy.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, so if someone came to you and said, "Okay, I'm gonna start carnivore. I want to give it a try for 90 days. Tell me
Hmm.
what I need to do." Based on your experience, what advice would you give them to give them the best chance of success in that 90 days?
So a lot of what I tell people is check in with me. If you're going to ask me, what to do, I want to be your coach, or I want to be your accountability partner. You know, um, I've got a lot of friends that ask me, and a lot of people that I check in on. How are you doing this week, or how are you doing today? And I continue to tell them, set a goal on that Friday. If you need me, my phone's right here. You can ask me about a recipe. You can ask me, hey, what do I do in this situation? Um, a lot of people eat because of stress. People have so much stress in their lives, especially this country is, you turn on the news and you see what's going on in this world, and it just builds up stress on people. And a lot of people just stress eat, and they do. They eat because they're stressed out, or they're bored. You know, if you're bored, maybe just get outside and exercise. Walk for 30 minutes, drink more water. But I've got a lot of friends that reach out to me, and I'll check on them. But I basically tell them, start with eggs, start with a beef, whether it be hamburger, or a steak, or even pork. You can have cheese, you can have dairy, but what I tend to do is eliminated that cheese and that milk or that whipping cream or whatever it was, um, and just call it kind of like a elimination diet. So, you can eat your eggs, your cheese, your meats, your chickens, your pork. Um, those are all low carb, no carbs, and then start eliminating the dairy or start eliminating the cheese, and then give yourself a goal on fasting. Try fasting. Try not eating for 24 hours. Eat, that's one meal a day. Basically, say at noon, I'm going to eat. I've got some friends that they don't start eating until noon, and they do that. I think it's 18 to 6. That they do some kind of ratio where they say, I only eat in this window from noon to 6. And that's their window of eating. Um, and I can do that as well. And I've done that several times, but, I like my eggs in the morning. I wake up very early in the morning. I wake up about 4:30 in the morning, and get my day started. And I eat about 7:30, my eggs, and then I'll eat again at noon. So, and if I'm hungry at night, um, I'll eat. And I think Dr. Ken Berry mentioned, he said, if you're hungry, eat, right? I've been asked that too. When do you eat? When I'm hungry. And I eat ribeye, I eat eggs, I eat a hamburger. I eat when I'm hungry.
I think that's one of the important things for new people to understand coming into carnivore is it's a completely different paradigm from what you used to when you think about dieting, because you go through your whole life, you're thinking about, calorie counting and
Yes,
low fat this and it's got to have all the right labels and all this kind of thing, right? And it's not like that.
right.
As long as you stick to the animal products, just eat until you feel like you don't need to eat anymore, right?
That is correct. That
Mm.
that is 100% correct. Um, I remember, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago, somebody was stating about like what you just said, calorie counting, and you need to eat 6 meals a day. They were all small meals a day, but it was to regulate your blood sugar, apparently, why you ate 6 meals a day. I was like, well, that's crazy. Why would I eat 6 meals a day? You know? Like I said, once you get on carnivore and you get on a routine, your body will tell you when to eat, and you eat when you're hungry.
Yeah, well said. Um, so Bill, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact or any social media?
I do. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Um, and if anybody wants to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, it's Bill Potter. I can give you my email if you want. Um, it's Bill Potter 15 at hotmail.com.
Awesome, thank you. I'll put all those in the show notes.
Okay.
Um, Bill, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me. And, you know, Kip Cruz, who you talked to a couple months ago, is
Mm.
my brother-in-law, so, um, you know, Kip's been married to my sister for over 30 years. So I've known Kip for more than half my life. So, Kip's a good dude, and he's a carnivore as well. So